Everybody knows that the Antichrist is the beast of the book of Revelation. But is he? Yes, in fact, he is, but no, in fact, he isn't. It seems to me that everybody gets that, but then again, do we? Because when people are talking about the 7-year tribulation, if we can technically call it that, more accurately, it is Daniel's 70th week, but we know that there's 7 years of big issues. The first half is all about birth pangs, which is really terrible in its own right, and then the second half is the Great Tribulation. Well, if the book of Revelation refers to this beast, and the book of Daniel does, have we really dissected exactly who's who? Because in both of these books, Daniel and John both talk about a beast with heads and horns, and then this little horn that takes precedence and kind of steals the show, if you will. And he is the one that's given authority in the middle of the tribulation and begins his 42 months. And that's when the mark of the beast is instituted. So at that point, the Antichrist is the beast. But before that, he's not. And the scriptures prove it. So I'm just going to read pretty much what I just talked about. And I'll try to be quick because I know that most people don't listen to my videos for more than 3 minutes. So let's try to hurry. Okay. I'm starting with chapter 13 in the book of Revelation, verse 1. And I'm probably going to read down to verse 7 or something like that. Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw the beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now these are nations. These are kings, leaders, several of them, not just one. And on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. Now the beast, with all these heads and horns, was like a leopard, his feet were like a bear, his mouth like a lion, and the dragon gave him his power and his throne and great authority. And I saw on one of his heads as if it had been mortally wounded, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world marveled and followed the beast. Now, this happens in the middle of the tribulation. It's part of the big deception. Whoa, check this dude out. He's God. So they worshiped the dragon who gave authority to the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like the beast? Now the beast is the Antichrist. Now we're in the middle of the 7 years, or Daniel's 70th week. And the beast is officially the Antichrist. And he was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And he was given authority to continue for 42 months. So that's when the Antichrist takes the stage. That's when the little horn becomes the big guy. And I didn't mark it. I shut it. Okay, Daniel 7 is where it talks a little bit more about the same thing. I'm just going to read Daniel 7 and 8. After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, exceedingly strong. It had iron teeth. It was devouring, breaking in pieces, and trampling the residue with its feet. It was different from all the other beasts before it, meaning the kingdoms or the empires, the leaders of the earth at that time. And it had 10 horns. I was considering the horns, and there was another horn, a little one, coming up among them, before whom 3 of the first horns were plucked out by the roots. So that's giving us a little bit more information that we know that before this little horn becomes the big guy and gets his 42 months to rule the earth, he plucks out 3 other horns. So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. So Daniel was considering the horns, and there was another horn, a little one, coming up among them, before whom 3 of the first horns were plucked out by the roots, and there in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking pompous words. Okay, so it's clear. That settles that. The Antichrist is not the Antichrist. I mean, he still exists before the middle of the trib. He's still who he is. He still has the Antichrist spirit. But see, that beast that has all the heads and horns, all these nations that come together and unite, that beast is also a spirit of Antichrist entity. It's all connected to Satan and his desire to rule over all the earth, to be like God. And so that's, there's many beasts, there's many antichrists. Like I said in another video, that first horse, the Antichrist horse, went out right when Jesus opened that seal in front of John. So where am I going next? In Revelation 11:7, it talks about the 2 witnesses finishing up their testimony, and that the beast that came up out of the bottomless pit declaring war against them. The beast that came up from the bottomless pit, that's who heals that deadly wound on that little horn that makes him so wonderful and makes the whole world marvel after him and makes everybody say, he's God. And you know what? People in Israel believe that he's God. He's the Messiah. And the corporate body of Christ. That's the big lie. That this dude is Jesus or God. I suspect he's literally going to claim to be Jesus. I don't know that for sure. That's just my suspicion. But either way, he's claiming to be God. And heads up, the corporate Christian body is all for it. That's why it's going to become brother against brother. That's why there's going to be great persecution in the true church, the remnant that is coming out. Come out of her, my people. Out of what? Out of Mystery Babylon, the abominable, adulterous church system. So, okay, I'm trying to be quick here. But yeah, a Revelation 11:7. It says that beast that came out of the bottomless pit. Question: when was the bottomless pit open? According to many people, they believe that all the trumpets happen at the end, or at least trumpet 7 does, and probably trumpets 5 and 6 too. I don't know. But trumpet number 6 is no. Trumpet number 5, is the one where the star falls from heaven and he has the key to the bottomless pit and opens it. And up come all these locusts that look like horses that Joel, chapter 1 or 2, talks about in the end, blow the trumpet in Zion. It's the big invasion. And these locust types being, as verse 25 of that chapter tells us, or is it 15? I'm sorry. I'm winging it here because I'm trying to be quick. In Joel, it talks about blow the trumpet in Zion because there is going to be an invasion such as never has been or ever will be again. Well, blow the trumpet. Why? Because a trumpet is a warning. Sound the alarm. Here it comes. Here comes what? The Great Tribulation. How do we know it's the Great Tribulation? Because Jesus said in Matthew 24 that here's the Great Tribulation such as never was nor ever will be again. And that's how these locust creatures are described, these invaders are described in Joel, that they are such as never have been or ever will be again. These aren't your typical military invaders, soldiers. No, these are such as never been or ever will be again. Why? Because they came up from the bottomless pit. Trumpet 6, sound the trumpet, sound the alarm. Here comes the invasion of Zion in Jerusalem, in Israel. This is a terrible, terrible invasion. And the people of Judea need to flee before this invasion happens, because this one will be the end-all be-all for Israel until Jesus fixes everything a few years later. But at that moment, that's it. Right now, Israel is going through hell, but they're not being totally annihilated because there is a protection still in place. But when Israel gives her allegiance over to the false Messiah, that's it. So if you don't want to be destroyed, you need to get out of there before this happens. And it's going to happen in a few years. It's not, this is 2024 right now. I guarantee you it's not going to be this year or next year. Because the first 3.5 years have to transpire first. The two witnesses have to be preaching for 1,260 days first. So the point is that this invasion, it has beings like locusts and they look like horses. And that's what Revelations 9 talks about with the 5th trumpet. That these locusts come up because a star fell after all these other stars fell. But this star had a key, so we know this is an entity. Well, golly gee, I wonder. Oh, I lost my background. Oh, well. I wonder who that entity is. Well, it's none other than Satan. He's being cast out of heaven at that point because he has just been at war with Michael the archangel. And boom, he loses. He's cast down to the earth. He has a key. He opens the bottomless pit. The beast comes out and he heals the fatally wounded little horn and makes him look so marvelous. And all the world believes, oh my gosh, here's the Messiah. Well, not all the world, but a lot. A lot of people believe it, including the corporate body. But anyways, so that's when the beast gets his position, because the bottomless pit is open, and that trumpet number 5 is right coinciding, simultaneous. Trumpet number 6 happens where the 2 angels, or 4 angels, are released from the river Euphrates, who come up and incite the big war that kills 1/3 of mankind. And it's safe to say that's probably World War III. Is that happening at the end of 7 years? The beast comes up, the locusts are released, and this major invasion happens. And we know it's that major invasion of Joel because it says they're locusts and they look like horses. You can't deny that. And that's the major invasion. When does the major invasion happen? In the middle. Jesus said, when you see the abomination of desolation standing where he ought not be, get out of Dodge, get out of Judea, get out of Jerusalem, get out of Israel. When you see Israel surrounded, or Jerusalem surrounded, like That's in Mark 13 or Luke 21. Get out, flee, because it's beginning, and it'll be such as never has been or ever will be. Just like those invaders, because of those invaders. And be careful, don't listen to them when they're telling you, here I am or there I am. It's not me. Because I will only be seen as coming in the clouds as far as the east is from the west. If they're saying I'm in the desert, don't go out. It's a trick. It's a lie. It's a deception. Don't fall for it. So, when is trumpet 5 and trumpet 6 happening? Which is wars. This invasion from the locusts from the 5th trumpet. And these 4 angels have been chained up in the river Euphrates. They come up and 1/3 of mankind is killed. Is this in the middle? I mean, yeah. Joel's invasion is in the middle because Jesus says it is. Such as never has been or ever will be again. And right with that is World War III. And come on, is World War III going to be happening at the end? No. That war is all about Satan, the Antichrist, doing his thing to rule the earth. That's how he starts his reign. So that's not at the end. So if trumpet 5 and trumpet 6 are in the middle, what do you suppose trumpet 7 is? At the end? Way three, given another 3.5 years, and then the 7th warning will sound. That doesn't make sense. Trumpets are warnings. Warning, here it comes. So, that being said, the beast that comes out of the bottomless pit is the one that heals this little horn and makes him so marvelous and deceives many, 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 including the corporate body, the corporate Jews, and they all say, oh my gosh, he's the Messiah, he's really God. And they start, they fall for the deception. Boom. They kill off the rest of the witnesses, the 2 that are in Jerusalem, and all the rest of them. And I'll be talking about that elsewhere. And then 3.5 days later, the rapture. There's only one rapture. There's only one rapture. So I'm going to go because I went longer than I wanted to. My face is getting red. I can see it in the camera. So I know I typically try to respond to people in the comments because, I want to speak what I believe the truth to be to help people understand. But I only have so much time and energy to get into it with people. So I'll do my best. That's all I can say. Catch you next time.